Well, what I would say to a pastor like that is that I know how you can feel as a pastor, that you don't have time for your family like you ought to. You certainly don't have your weekends like everybody else has. I mean, during the year, it's very difficult to run up to your place, wherever it is, or down to the beach, like a lot of your parishioners do. So you can say, you know, this is working against me. But actually, I think you can leverage the pastorate in behalf of your family. And this was some years ago when my daughters were married, my sons were still in high school. I was being interviewed by Christianity Today about family. And so we took them out to dinner the women without their spouses, and said, how did you really feel to be raised in a manse, in a pastor's house? And they said, Dad, we loved it. We loved it. We loved the conversations at the table, the interesting people. We loved church. They were totally positive. My oldest son said, Dad, you work too hard. They worked you too hard. I said, no, they didn't work me too hard. I worked myself too hard. It wasn't them. But leveraging your family, and I really almost owe all the wisdom that I'm going to share enthusiastically to my wife, Barbara, who's absolutely a brilliant mother and spouse. But what we did is leveraged our schedule, first of all. One of the things as a pastor is that I'm not on the road, at least as a busy pastor. I wasn't on the road. I'd be busy. I'd have meetings at night, be up in the morning, that sort of thing. Couldn't have breakfast together necessarily because of school schedules and so on, or lunch. But evenings, we always had around the table, which meant my dear wife had to plan a menu and have it out, whether it was macaroni and cheese or whatever it was. But we would take the phone off the hook and always have a meal together. And I mean, I'm not talking about perfection. There was probably 3 years when they were small that there wasn't a meal that we didn't have something spilled on the table, you know, that kind of thing. But we would talk to them. We'd engage them in conversation. So we'd say, if you ask a child, how was it today, they say bad or good, they won't answer you. But if you say, what's the best thing that happened today? What was the hardest thing? Did you see Johnny again? We get them involved in conversation. So we kept a family time from the time they were children all the way through high school, because that was the time we could be together. So we kept it inviolate. And I really do think that a pastor can have a table that's the center of things. A place for guests to come, the whole 9 yards. The other thing we did is leveraged our schedule another way, and that is, if you're in the pastorate, you can almost always make your children's concerts and their athletic events. So I was present at my boys. They played soccer at Wheaton North High School, and so I made their games. Got yellow carded in the stands one time for being a little noisy, but you know, cheering my sons on. So we made all their school events and that sort of thing. The other thing we would do in leveraging the schedule, and as my wife put me up to this, about every 2 months, I would take, for each child about every 2 months, I'd call their school and say, I'm taking Heather out to lunch today, or Holly out to lunch, or Carrie out to lunch. I'd go pick them up, take them out to lunch. Take them to Chili's, come back, they go to class, and they would say to their friends, say, where you been? Well, I've been with my dad to lunch at Chili's. Well, other dads didn't do that. So we built in this very positive thing about it. The other thing is that during nice weather, my wife would pack up a breakfast she could cook in the park with a Coleman stove, and we would have breakfast in the morning in the park and then take them to school. So we leveraged all those things. And when we were young and lived in California, when it got to be May, I just abused their education. On Mondays, my day off, I'd take them out at noon, and we'd all go down to the beach and spend till dark and have a bonfire down at the beach. So I leveraged it that way. And then we worked a lot of fun into raising our kids. We got an idea from Dr. Bob Smith, who was a longtime professor of philosophy at Bethel College, now gone to be with the Lord. And he introduced us to what we call pajama rides. And that is, we tell our children, when they were little, you know, in the next week or so, we're going to take you on a pajama ride. but you have to be in bed. So, and when we yelled pajama ride, you come down with your pillows and pajamas and get in the car. So the first time we did it, we took them to Dairy Queen. And after they'd gotten themselves all messed up, I said, surprise! And I took them to another Dairy Queen across town for seconds. So that began a tradition of going to a movie, going to a pool, going to a friend's house, that sort of thing. And which they celebrated when I got old by taking me on a pajama ride on a Sunday night all around town in my pajamas. And, you know, so having a lot of fun. And then leverage on our vacations. You are busy when you're in the ministry. I mean, I worked about 60 hours a week. I mean, it was a busy life, really busy. But we would, when they were young, we wouldn't do traveling vacations. We'd rent a place at, say, at the beach for 2 weeks where they had us 24/7. And, you know, build sandcastles and fish and swim, be there, do our own plays, do our own puppets, and so on. So my children, when a child loves the Lord, you say it's God's grace. You don't take credit for it, but I can say by God's grace, they all love the Lord, all positively disposed towards the pastorate and ministry. They loved it.